The terrifying horror game phenomenon becomes a blood-chilling cinematic event, as Blumhouse, the producer of Megan, The Black Phone and The Invisible Man, brings Five Nights at Freddy's to the big screen. The film follows Mike, a troubled young man, who cares for his 10-year-old sister Abby, and is haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother, more than a decade before. Mike is recently got fired and he desperately need a job, so that he can keep custody of Abby. After some time, Mike agrees to take a position as a night security guard at an abandoned theme restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. But Mike soon discovers that nothing at Freddy's is what it seems. With the aid of Vanessa, a local police officer, Mike's nights at Freddy's will lead him into unexplainable encounters with the supernatural, and drag him into the black heart of an unspeakable nightmare. In the end, Mike is desperate to catch Garrett's kidnapper, so he makes a deal with the Ghost Kids. Ghost Kids allow Mike to change what happened in his dreams, so that he saves Garrett in exchange for taking Abby. Mike agrees but changes his mind, leaving his dreams behind for reality. Meanwhile, Mike discovers that Vanessa knew all along about what happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in the 80s. As it turns out, Vanessa is the daughter of Steve Raglan, who killed 5 kids at Freddy's who were never found by the police. The ending also reveals that William kidnapped and killed Garrett when Mike was 12. Mike fights William to save Abby from being his next victim, and Vanessa joins him after having turned a blind eye to her father's actions for fear of retaliation. Abby draws the truth for the kids to see, and the animatronics finally turn on William, dragging him away while his own animatronic suit cuts him on the inside. However, William stays alive, while Vanessa is hospitalized after being stabbed by her father. Weeks later, Mike and Abby are doing fine, but Abby asks if she can check in on her friends after everything. In the movie we saw animatronics. Are they really ghost robots? The animatronics are actually possessed by the ghosts of the kids William killed in the 80s. It's not that the kids' ghosts simply animate the robotic creatures, but William put their remains inside where no one would bother to look. The animatronic ghosts are brought to life because of the kids' physical attachment. William was revealed as a serial killer who abducted children, killed them and influenced their remains, so they could do his bidding without getting his hands dirty. Freddy's has been closed since the kids' deaths, and their ghosts followed in William's footsteps, manipulating, terrifying and killing anyone who trespassed on the premises. Why William do not close Pizzeria? Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closing actually benefited William, who could continue killing people without anyone questioning him. The animatronic ghosts couldn't rest, because they were tied to the very place they were killed forever, and William used that to his advantage. Crucially, closing Freddy Fazbear's Pizza down would likely have uncovered the children's remains, and William wouldn't allow that to happen because it would implicate him in their deaths. Leaving the kids in animatronic form gave William control over them, and leaving Freddy's abandoned meant fewer people would come looking for any evidence. It helped that Vanessa was basically watching over the place, essentially doing her father's bidding as well. What happened at the end? In the end, Mike was preoccupied by his dreams of Garrett's kidnapping. In every dream, Mike was reminded how he wasn't able to save his younger brother. He was so desperate to find out the abductor's identity that he wasn't really living in the present, and that showed in nearly all of his interactions with Abby. At a moment he even chose to give Abby up, in exchange for changing what happened to Garrett. This thing revealed Mike's obsession with absolving himself of his own guilt, and how much he couldn't move on from the past. Of course, Mike was also being manipulated by the kid ghosts, but at that moment he agreed to exchange Abby for Garrett. He was making an active choice that spoke to the depth of his own pain, while ignoring what was happening in the present. Realizing he'd given up on Abby made Mike snap out of his focus on the past, and gave him a path forward so he could be there for his sister. It was a wake-up call, and it led him to truly see and be there for Abby in a way that he wasn't before. We all know it is a game adaptation, but what changed from the game? Five Nights at Freddy's follows the first game rather closely, because in the movie Mike is still a night security guard, who takes a job looking after the abandoned restaurant, and the animatronic's backstory is fairly similar as well. The biggest change from the game is the introduction of Abby, a character created for the film. While in the game the ghost kids wanted to shove Mike into a spare animatronic suit, but here Abby is the one they want in the movie adaptation. Abby being in Five Nights at Freddy's gives Mike a story that further deepens his character. It also gives him a bigger push when trying to fight off the animatronics so he can save Abby. Also, William's role as the serial killer is revealed early on in the game, but his involvement is kept a secret throughout the film. In the games, William is already dead, and it's his ghost that possesses the animatronic yellow rabbit, whereas Five Nights at Freddy's keeps him alive until the end of the film. Elizabeth is the name of William's daughter, and she is a security guard in the games, but the film swaps her out for Vanessa. The film adaptation doesn't introduce William's son Michael, though it's worth noting that Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't actually reveal Mike's last name. Let's see what's next for future sequel. William's yellow rabbit suit, specifically the endoskeleton, begins stabbing him as he's dragged away by the other animatronics. Five Nights at Freddy's ending doesn't confirm his death, but shows that he's bleeding heavily from his injuries, as one of the ghost boys closes the storage door on him. If William dies, he could still come back as a ghost that brings to life his animatronic yellow rabbit. It's not like Mike burned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza down, so it stands to reason that William could return regardless of his fate. Five Nights at Freddy's certainly sets up a sequel, though Mike and Abby's continued involvement remains unclear. But they're tied to the family restaurant forever now, and they could be drawn back to it if Abby decides to check in on her animatronic friends, which would set up William's revenge against the pair for taking him down to begin with. I think that's it for today, so guys, what are your thoughts on this game adaptation? Please tell me in comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. To stay updated with more exciting content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and before you go, be sure to share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.